Hi guys, Debbie here. Welcome back to part 5 of putting together our 2 signature No-Sew junk journal. Today we are going to bind our signatures into our covers. So let's get going on that. Just move things out the way. Keep your button handy so you don't forget to use that. You can use a button or you don't have to use a button. So I'm choosing to use one. So the first thing we're going to do is grab a signature. And doesn't matter which one, make sure it's the right way up. It's not unheard of, believe me, I've done it, to put your signature in upside down. So let's make sure we have it. So the easiest way to do that is make sure your pockets are on the bottom. So there's our signature, my first signature. What I'm going to do is find the middle of our signature. So there's our middle. There's the middle right there. So I'm going to open it up in the middle. I am going to grab one of my pieces of twine and lay it across the middle. Okay, so your first signature is laying on the back of your cover, and we are going to thread the threads through the first bottom holes. So 2 holes, one is at the bottom and one is at the top. I call it bottom and top because the other one will come on the top. So we're going to thread the first thread through that hole at the bottom, and then we are going to thread the top thread through the hole, the first hole at the bottom. Okay, and gently pull on it, close your book, and now we're going to pull the bottom thread, and we are going to thread it through the hole, the bottom hole that the first thread came through, that the top thread came through. So there we have 2 threads in one hole. So the first thread at the top went in this way and we pulled it out the back, and then when we threaded the bottom thread, it went in the bottom hole and we pulled it up and we threaded it through the hole that way. So now we have 2 threads coming out of one hole. So I am going to just hold the ends together like that and gently tug on it to keep the ends, to keep the length of the thread the same. Okay, so now I'm gently tugging on it. You can see gently tugging on it. Open up my cover to make sure that my book is sitting nice and snug against the back like I want it, and it is. So I am going to just gently tug like that. Nope, I forgot my button, so I'm going to pull the bottom thread out. Beg my pardon. And I'm going to thread, here's your button, I'm going to thread the thread through the bottom hole. I'm going to just snip it quickly first. There's my first bit of fraying. So let's just snip that. So I am going to, if your button was lying on the back of your book like that, so I'm going to use the 2 left-hand holes like that. So I'm going to thread through the bottom hole like that, and then through the top hole like that. Now you've just threaded a button on, and you're going to just maneuver it down. There we go. I'm going to thread the bottom, thread through the top, pull it out. There it is. There it is there. And I'm going to gently tug on it to make sure my strings are the right length. Then I'm just going to coax my button back down. I want it somewhat in the middle. Oh, that's gone a little bit too far, so I'm going to coax it back up. Okay. That's about right. That button is in about the right position for me, so that's fine. I'm going to leave my button right there. So now I've got my strings. I'm gently pulling on them, making sure that my signature is snug against the back of my spine. Pull it like that. And now I am going to tie a knot, just a regular old knot, over under knot. If that has a special name, I'm not sure what it is, but over and under and tie. Gently pull it tight, but not too tight. And then I'm going to just turn my book around. So it's tied only one knot, so I can definitely undo it. And I'm going to check the tension of my book, because I would like my book to have enough tension in it that I can slide something. Say down the road I'm working in my journal and I want to add something. I get a birthday card or a thank you card or something, and I want that to become part of my journal. I can certainly slip it in there. And now my card becomes part of my journal. I can write in it, or it's just a memory if there's writing in it. So that's what I want. I don't want my book to be so tight that it's kind of hard to open the pages. So make sure you've got enough laxity that you can flip through it and the pages lay flat and it's easy to work in, and you still have a little bit of wiggle room to add stuff to it. Okay, so I think that's fine. It does come a little bit tighter once I pull it, and that's fine. I'm not going to pull it so tight that it's going to be too snug. So now, if you can see this, I'm going to pull it just a little bit tight because it did loosen up, and tie it. And now I'm going to do another over-under knot, over-under, and tie. And see that there? And I do it 3 times, so I'm going to do one more. Over-under, under-over, whichever way you learn to do a knot. That way, and pull that tight. So now I have 3 knots. Okay, so have a look at that. So here we have our signature that is sewn into the journal. It's sitting in there snug against the back. And now we have 2 strings, and we can still pull my button down a bit. They slide with a bit of persuasion. You can see I've got 2 strings. They're way too long, but that's great. We're going to leave them that way, and we'll snip them once we're done our beading and putting on the buttons. Okay, let's move on to signature number 2. Second signature, I am going to lay on top of the first signature and do exactly the same. So find my second piece of hemp twine, string, or whatever you're going to be using. Maybe you have something decorative, more decorative than the hemp twine. Just make sure it's strong, because you don't want your book to come undone. And I've never had the my hemp string break on me or come undone or anything like that. So I like to use it because it's thin enough to thread beads, buttons, etc. So that's why I like it. You can use a fatter string, but then you're going to be restricted on what you can put on if you wanted to do dangles. Okay, so that's my bottom string has gone through the bottom hole. My top string pardon me, is now going to go through the top hole like that, and to pull that through. I'm going to close my book, and then I am going to bring my top string, and this is going to be a little bit more challenging. Usually I grip this between my legs, but I'm filming so I can't. A little bit more challenging. So now I'm going to thread my thread through the bottom hole of the, you can see that, through the bottom hole of my button, and I'm going to thread it again through the top hole of my button. There's the top hole of my button there, like that, and thread that through. Okay, that seems to be okay, except it's not going to be long enough, so I'm going to just pull some through like that. Okay, like that. And now I'm going to thread this piece of twine through the top hole where the other one is coming out of that we haven't tied. And I'm going to pull that through. Okay, turn my book around. And now these 2 strings, these 2 threads are the ones I'm working with. So I'm just going to pull that, coax my button back down, and there it is. It's there we go. Definitely doable. You can coax them back down. There we go. I think that's fine. So I'm going to, what am I doing here? Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm pulling the wrong button. There we go. Pulling the wrong thread. There we go. So now I'm going to tie these 2 the same as I did before. I'm just going to tie it with some tension and have a look and see how my book is sitting. So I'm just going to tie that. Okay, I hope I'm on camera here. There. I'm going to open up my book and let's have a look and see. My book is upside down. Okay, there we go. There we go. So this is, yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So let's have a look and see if we can slip slip something. Yeah, definitely still a little bit of wiggle room, which is what I want. You can kind of tell if you wiggle your pages like that, you should be able to have a little bit of a wiggle in it. It shouldn't be so tight that you can't move them. And have a look at your front, excuse me, at your middle. You should be able to run your fingers underneath. That's my preference. That's what I like to do. Just give myself a little wiggle room. Okay, so I'm happy with that tension. So I am now going to secure my knots. So we're going to do the over-under knot again. I already have one. So this will be number 2. There we go, number 2. And for luck, I'm going to do 3. So that is that 3. Okay, perfecto. Right, so my strings, I didn't quite get them the same length, but no worries, because this one is still way long, so not to worry at all. You just don't want one short up there, so make sure you've got yourself some good length to play with. Okay, so there we have it, and our dangles are going to come on here as well. We will add an extra string once we've put our dangle on for the bookmark. We'll put an extra string there, so you'll have 2 more strings hanging down here so that we can have equal amounts of dangles on the back. Okay, so here you have it. You have your book that is now all bound. I'm just going to tie it up so you can have a look. There you go. There's your book is all bound, and that is going to be what it looks like. You've got your button on the back, and our dangles will go on there, and our bookmark will be hanging out the bottom with a little dangle. So that's it, guys. We have put our book together finally. Thanks for joining me, and please come back and we will have fun making cards, embellishments, and what else were we going to do? We're going to make some envelopes on our next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.